Hello, Just Jax here and welcome to my channel. Now, since we are in the month of Halloween, I thought we'd go for a little monster making. Now there's quite a few different ideas I had shooting around. There's playing with mod rock and making ghosts, there's making masks, sculpting monsters, creating all sorts of things. So I had a look around the kitchen to get some ideas, which sounds off, but quite often you end up with things in the kitchen somewhere that are just out of date, no good, you don't use them, so on and so forth. And I saw these up the cupboard. Mint green tea. I drink tea, but I don't drink mint green tea. We got this for upset stomachs, but we got this so many years ago that it was up the top with my baking goods. And it went out of date all of 3 years ago, a little bit over. I was like, what could I do with those? So they're never going to get used now, they didn't get used then. And there's damn near a whole pack still. We'll keep the box because that could come in handy for all sorts. And they do smell nice, they smell lovely. We'll pop that in the bin in a moment as well, stick you over there for now. So, I got wondering, can you do paper mache with tea bags? Because it'll have a bit of a sort of fleshy-like quality to it. It got me thinking because of all the wet used tea bags on the side. I thought, well, why not? And it'll be preserved, so it'll be in glue, so it shouldn't go funky. Though it might do in the long run, we'll see. Yeah, and I got those bouncy eyeballs. So I picked out some orange ones of those, because for some reason I like the look of orange. And I did this when I was having a little look around to see if this could work, and it does. It looks like a freaky eye, and dependent on how you position the tea bags, move those over for a second, you could either have it like a shocked eyeball, a curious eyeball, bring it down a bit, you've got angry eyeball. So let's have a play, see what we can do. We have tea bags. We have a fairly solid paintbrush here, nice chunky number. We've got foil, so I've got the foil out in case we decide to make a bit of a skeleton or a bit of a frame first, so we don't have to use the bulk of the tea bags to make the bulk of the body. We can make a rough shape with this and then coat it in these. We've also got PVA glue, and I've got some water because we're going to water it down, and a tray big enough for mixing and for soaking the tea bags in. This is going to be a messy one. So messy I've got some baby wipes to hand, because if I need to stop for any reason, I'm going to have glue all over my fingers, which means I can't touch the camera, I can't touch the mic, I can't touch anything. So let's first decide, and we just got this to work off of. This is just some of that photo paper that I have absolutely no use for, so stick that over there for the moment, and let's have a think about, let's just get a pencil. Let's have a think about, without too much thought, how we can have this. I'm thinking just a mass, because it's tea bags after all, a bit like a blob. It'll be the tea bag, the tea blob, with a bit of a gawping mouth, and the eyes can be up here, and they can either be situated really close together or like either side or off all different angles. So let's make ourselves a bit of a body. We're going to use a fair bit of this. think if you can hear me over the rustling, we're going to use a fair bit of this. It's like the cheapest stuff you can get. I think it's like less than 50p a roll. And let's just start making a shape that we're going to be happy with. We're going to want a big compression in the middle there where the mouth is going to be. And then we might get some more, build it up here a tiny bit. We're not going to make it huge because we've got to bear in mind that these have got to cover it. And I'm not using my good tea bags for this project. I'm just going to use these busted up old tea bags. We could probably use the, I considered using the used tea bags. But then they're all soaked in milk as well. It's not just hot water because I have, you know, your traditional tea, milk, so on. I don't do black tea. It's not to my liking. So we're not going to make this too big. We're going to have a little bit of spillover with the tea bags. I think we just want to bring it up a tiny bit more. Although, that might be okay. I think we're going to go with that, you know. Pop those over there so they don't roll away. And this just down there for now, out the way. So we've got ourselves our rough Teabag Monster shape. Flat bottom, so he can sit. Bit of a gap in there for the mouth. And the eyes can sit in here and here because we seem to have two unintentional natural grooves. So let's get mixing the PVA. Now, lots of people swear by one ratio or another. I tend to just put a load in there, add a load of water and go for whatever consistency looks good to me. And you can always cling film this up, or if you have the lid, I've lost the lid for this one, that's why I'm using it. You can always stick a lid on it, cover it up, and that'll be good for any other projects you have. So it's not going to go to waste. And I have a load of water ready. So we're just going to put a healthy splash of that in there and get mixing. We want this to be nice and smooth. So no separation between the glue and the water. Now I go slow to begin with because when I've done this in the past and I've hit it out too vigorous to begin with, a lot of the water slops out the top, so it doesn't get to mix with the glue and you make a big old mess because it's already got a little bit of glue to it, so it'll end up sticky wherever it lands. So I start out nice and slow before I start giving it a bit of this. You still, well, I can see, I don't know if you can see, there's still a bit of a division between the glue underneath and the water on the top, so we're going to work it in. There are going to be some weird gloopy bits in there. That's quite an old PVA glue that I got there, so there's going to be... But that, to be honest, is going to add to the blobbiness of our creation. So I'm not overly worried about that. I think as far as the actual glue that hasn't formed a blob is concerned, it's nicely mixed in there. So I'm going to leave that brush in the water and I'll clean that very, very thoroughly when we're done, otherwise you will end up with a buggered brush and we don't want that. So I'm going to separate these tea bags, get them in there, get my gloves, get my sleeves up because this is going to get messy. In fact, I'm going to separate all my tea bags now. It's from experience, whenever I've done paper mache in the past, and I like to use tissue, like toilet roll, because I find you can get much more detail, it's much more malleable, I just prefer it. If I don't pre-tear everything, because I always end up getting my hands involved, always, then it's a right mare, because you're trying to pick up the tissue, you're trying to tear it, it's sticking to your hands because you've got glue all over them. So what I took to doing, even though it's a bit painstaking, separating single sheets of tissue, it's worth it, because it saves you a load of hassle when you're trying to do it mid-project. So we're going to separate all these. There's going to be around about 40, because I think there's probably about 39. I think I only ever used these once. Right. So let's get messy. We're going to get these nicely soaked in the glue there. We want all the tea leaves on the inside to soak up as well, so you can still feel they are quite dry on the inside. So we're going to give that quite a few squeezes in there, and I'm going to try my best not to tear the tea bag. Try my best. Right, that's starting to feel all gooey inside, so I think we're there, and I'm going to try as well to spread the tea out. And then let's just start building it up. Put a couple more in for soak. There's probably going to be some interesting sounds as we go in. Now usually I'd also work off something covered in cling film, but since so you don't get the paper stuck to the bottom. Basically, it'll peel, your creation will peel right off, and you'll have no paper residue anywhere. But this one doesn't really matter. It's not anything. It's got a flat bottom. It's going to be situated on a flat surface, and we may or may not paint it yet. We'll see how it looks when we're done. So let's fill in that mouth, squishing it all in place as we go in. Get a couple more loaded up. They can be soaking. It's already making for an interesting looking creation as it is. I think this will be what happens if you leave your used tea bags on the side for too long. This little creature will appear. Stick a few more in there. It hasn't quite got enough. You'll be able to tell when you're feeling it, because it'll suddenly stop being so grainy and it'll start to feel like, you'll also get a bit of colour come out of it like that. You'll know that it's soaked in enough. To have got the tea leaves themselves to absorb that glue as well. We're going to try to smooth off as we go in. Not too much. I don't mind there being like wrinkles and layers. It's going to add to the look. Yes, letting them soak for a little bit is a good idea. It's like you're brewing them but in glue, and I never recommend making a drink out of these after you've done this. But it's kind of what you're doing. You're letting them brew a little bit. So far we have this. It's going to be interesting. It smells really nice. It smells very minty. Yeah, I think we'll throw in some more. We can be more generous than I thought with this. They can really soak up. I'd like a sponge, squeeze them in underneath and then they'll soak up a bit more. Pick some from out the bottom. We want this to have a little bit of a trail. It's not going to finish all neat and tidy across the bottom. We want it to sort of spill over, just like tea bags. You know, when you've used them, they'll flop over the side a little bit. That one's still a bit too grainy, you can feel it. Now, have I ever done anything like this before? Nope, not with tea bags. That's why I thought it'd also be interesting to see what we get. Never used tea bags as a medium like this before. I've used cigarettes, oddly enough, in the past. But that's because I was par inspired by The Simpsons when Patty and Selma made a mascot that was made out of cigarette butts. Or I think it was made out of cigarettes. So I thought I'd try and make one. so I did. And he was pretty cool. He had his charm. Right, yeah, we are really starting to take shape now. Well, other things to talk about. As for the setup, I've still got the camera on mount. I'm still trying to press through with my camera, my camcorder, until I get another one, until I invest in a better one. Because this one, it vexes me. It's a good little number, but for some reason it won't focus bird's eye view, or won't stay in focus bird's eye view. That's where it's vexing me. I did a little, so I thought, perhaps it's just the camera, perhaps the camera just doesn't focus full stop. But I did do a test. I went around recording random things at different angles, swapping in between what I was looking at, just a flat surface, 3D surface, living beings, inanimate objects, my foot. And it stayed in focus, annoyingly, for the whole thing. I stick it up on the tripod and have it bird's eye view style, and it'll seem to stay focused for all of, I don't know, 5 or so minutes, and then it'll just suddenly decide, because I've moved one way or put my hand in a certain place, or even my head bobs in, so nope, can't focus on anything anymore. So, but I'm still giving it a shot before I adjust the setup and try using my mobile phone. Which I did a test with that one, and that focuses fine, no matter what. It's just I don't know how long it'll record for, and quite often my projects go on for quite a few hours. Let's mop some of that up. Send it back in there. So I think I'm already about to stick this to the table, which won't matter. You can clean it off, it's just PVA glue. It'll be a bit of scrubbing involved, but that's okay. As long as we can lift this guy off. Right, we are pretty much all covered. As far as the foil goes. Going to build him up a little bit more. Oh, there's one of those. slimy bits. I'm going to start working on him from the front now. Looks like we could have gone even bigger, so we're going to have quite a few tea bags. But then I guess it depends how much further we go with this, because this is still just the beginning. We definitely want to make sure all the foil is hidden. We don't want to see any of the foil. Under the bum doesn't matter. As for the rest of him, we don't want to see any foil. I'll be looking at adding those eyes as well in a moment. Pop. I might even transfer him to a clean piece when we're done. I think I'm going to go one more about there. I'm going to look at adding the eyes. And then we're going to have probably longer than 24 hours for this dude to dry. It'd be cool to see what he looks like when he's done. Right. How to do the eyes without gluing up the... Mind you, I guess it won't matter if they get a bit of glue in the eyes, will it? Let's get a couple of these ready. That one feels well absorbed. And that one, we'll take these two. Actually, we're going to need 4, aren't we? So let's get 4 ready. Yeah, that is well absorbed. That one, not so much. You can still feel it's so grainy. You're very grainy. You must have only recently gone in. We'll get a couple more in, start soaking, just in case we need them for anything. Right. Let's look. Get in that eyeball. Now you're not going to be able to see this right now. I will try and tilt him so you can see what I can see. Or I could leave it for a bit of a reveal. Let's try and get the other eyeball in. Slightly higher up. Oh, he looks beautiful. He looks beautiful. We're definitely going to need a couple more. Just to slop around the back there. Put a couple more in there. Almost like reinforcement for his eyes. He is beautiful. I'll give him that. He's a gorgeous teabag blob. Tea-blob. Well, at least I think he is anyway. I think he's absolutely stunning. Should keep that mouth. Yeah, one more around that side and then we'll look at moving him in a moment. And we'll put some more splayed across the bottom. We'll look at getting that slimy piece incorporated somehow, because I reckon that's just... that could be coming out of his mouth actually, kind of like drool. Give him a bit more weight across his bottom region. I think what we'll do is I'll stick this one on, pause for a second while I clean my hands up and get, well, actually, well, we'll see how far the baby wipes will take me. I've got quite a bit of glue on my hands. Right, we're going to just dump all them in for soak. So we are going to use them all. They may as well just get in there and start soaking up. Move that over there for a second. See how clean we can get with wipes alone. Probably not very clean. It's a damn near empty packet. Yeah, not clean enough to do diddly squat with. So I'm going to see if I can reach the sink while I'm still micked up. Because I'm not touching anything at the moment. Otherwise it's going to be all covered in glue. Unless I can get my fingers de-glued enough, which I might be able to. I might have enough here to get my fingertips relatively glue-free. I don't think I have anything else within reach, so I think, miracle of miracles, we're okay enough for me to move. Right, I'm going to see if I can reach the sink. I can't even get off my chair. Or can I? I might be able to. I'm very, very, very careful. Might be able to reach it just enough. Just enough to get the hands clean. Just enough. Okay. And get out of the habit of wiping everything on my top. Okay. Let's get another piece of that terrible yet wonderful photographic paper. So we can transfer the tea blob. Oh, trash in the places I'm going. Right. This is what he looks like. Oh, at the moment, if I can slip him off there. Look at him. He's beautiful. Let's plonk him down there. Let's get rid of this and clean our surface a little bit so the paper doesn't stick. Oh, I don't think I've got any chance of reaching those. Maybe those though. Maybe not. Can I reach the wipes? I can. Right. Let's just make sure we've got no glue left on the table. Anywhere. Leave them there for now. Right. I might even put him on something that makes him a bit more easy to transfer. I've got this handy dandy. I can dig it out. Right, a friend donated this. I can't remember what it is. Breadboard or a kettle stand or something. It's going to become something at some point. But right now, it's going to give me something to put him on. Right. Before we do anything else, we're going to finish him. Just a couple more tea bags around here. A couple more round by his butt. And then we are going to pause and let this dry out completely. Oh yeah, and we'll have to put that potential bead of slobber in there as well. Filling his back out a little bit because he's all sunken in where the eyes are protruding. Use up the remaining tea bags. Probably swap him to another clean piece. In fact, put that there for now. See if we can get this one to come in just here. Now, like I say, I've never used tea bags in this manner before, so I don't know how it's going to work. I guess we'll find out when it's dry. We've got 2 more tea bags to use somewhere. I think it'll be a bit much having one running right down the middle. So we can add to his, yeah, it's like a hairdo. I'll do that. I'll give him some teabag spikes. Like a teabag mohawk. See if that works. Right. Now do we put... Let's just see how it looks. Now that's spilling out of his mouth. I don't think there's any more bits in there to use. Just that piece. We have it. We have it. If he had a nose, we could have it hanging out of his nose. It looks a little bit out of place wherever we put it, so it might not. Now we could have it spilling out either side of his mouth. He's drooling. Yeah. Right. Let's get cleaned up enough to transfer him again. Clean that wooden board because I've already slopped glue all over it. I do intend to use it for something else at some point. Hands clean enough to touch anything? Not really. Let's get carefully back over to the sink. Let's get another bit of paper. Transfer him to that. He doesn't want to get up now. We made another slimy piece there. Right, get rid of this. Clean the board. Or clean around the board first. Pop all of this over here. Water wipes. Get all that glue out of there. Make sure there's none on the underside, otherwise it's going to stick to my tabletop. You'll be able to feel whether there's glue left anywhere or not, because it'll still be slippy. Or it'll feel like it's got a mild coating of slime to it. Right, we can now pop him on there. Clean up a bit because I'm still leaving traces of glue everywhere. Right. There he is. Look at him. Teabag Monster. Right, we are going to let him dry. I think my hands are safe to touch things now. At least 24 hours, probably more. We'll see come tomorrow. So yeah, that is going to be it for now. I will see you all in but a moment. I will see him in about 24 hours time. So see you in a second.